There comes a moment in every life when the mirror becomes your fiercest critic, not because it lies, but because it tells the truth. That moment when your eyes lock with the reflection staring back, and you're forced to confront the gap, the chasm, between who you are and who you were meant to be. Excuses pile up like bricks in a wall, one after another. I'm too tired. I wasn't born into privilege. The timing isn't right. What if I fail? These aren't reasons. They're refuges for the timid. Safe houses for those who've surrendered their potential without a fight. But understand this. Your life doesn't change when the conditions are perfect. Your life changes the moment you say, no more. The moment you take the match of responsibility and strike it against the stone of desire, lighting a fire so fierce that every excuse you've ever made turns to ash. You were not born to be average. You were not designed for delay. You were built to rise, not by chance, but by choice. But the price of that rise? It's steep. It demands your comfort. It demands your stories. It demands your lies. So burn them. Burn the excuse that says, I don't have time, and realize you have the same 24 hours as every legend that's ever walked this earth. Burn the excuse that says, I'm not ready, and know that readiness is a decision, not a condition. Burn the excuse that whispers, what if I fail? Because failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. The graveyards are filled with the bones of people who waited for someday. You don't have someday. You have now. The man who built the light bulb, Thomas Edison, failed 10,000 times. But he said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Why? Because he burned his excuses. His desire was brighter than his doubt. Desire, that sacred spark, not hope, not wishing, not a faint interest. Desire, the white-hot flame that consumes every obstacle, that bends reality to your will, that turns invisible thoughts into tangible results. The great Napoleon Hill said, desire is the starting point of all achievement. But he didn't mean passive desire. He meant desire so strong it wakes you in the night. Desire that keeps your feet moving long after your strength is gone. Desire that demands you become more. Not because you have to, but because you refuse not to. And here's the brutal truth. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they coddle their excuses. They tuck them into bed every night and kiss them on the forehead. But the champions, the builders of destiny, they slaughter their excuses. They stand over them like warriors and say, you do not own me anymore. It's not easy. It was never supposed to be. Ease is the enemy of greatness. Discipline is the gatekeeper of every dream. That's why so many never cross the threshold, because excuses are warm. But that warmth is the heat of decay. And if you stay there long enough, your ambition will rot from the inside out. So what's stopping you? Really? What excuse are you still holding on to like a childhood blanket? Because the moment you let it go, the moment you burn that lie to the ground, you'll see the path beneath the ashes. The path that's always been there, waiting for the warrior to rise. Not with a plan, but with a decision. Not with certainty, but with fire. Let the world doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them label you crazy. Because every empire ever built started with a madman. Someone obsessed enough to burn down their past and walk through the smoke, alone if necessary, to claim what was theirs. This is your permission. To stop explaining. To stop apologizing. To stop blaming. And to start building.
Building begins not with bricks, but with belief. Belief is the blueprint of achievement. Before a single nail is hammered, before one stone is laid, the structure is completed in the mind. It is imagined, it is felt, it is lived in the heart before it ever exists in the world. But belief, true belief, is not inherited, it is forged. Forged in the silence when no one claps for you. Forged in the dark when the lights are off and the world forgets your name. Forged in the repetition of choosing to rise, not once, but 1,000 times. Not because it's easy, because you must. There is no power like belief in oneself. Henry Ford was told by experts that his idea for a self-propelled vehicle was foolish. If I had asked people what they wanted, he said, they would have said faster horses. But Ford didn't ask. He believed, he acted, and the world changed. That's the kind of belief you must cultivate. The belief that bends logic, defies odds, and walks blindfolded across fire with faith as its only compass. But belief without clarity is a weapon without a target. You must know what you want, not vaguely, not someday, exactly. The clearer the vision, the faster the progress. The more defined the destination, the less tempting the distractions. Don't say, I want success. What does that mean? Success to one man is a private jet. To another, it's peace of mind. To a third, it's changing lives. Your desire must be sharp, not a fog, a laser. Write it, speak it, see it when you close your eyes and feel it in your bones before it ever arrives. Because clarity is how mountains are moved. Vague dreams build vague lives. Precise dreams build empires. And vision, true vision, is not merely seen with the eyes. It's seen with the spirit. It's heard in whispers when the world is asleep. It's the ache in your soul that refuses to die, no matter how many times life tries to silence it. Walt Disney was fired for lack of imagination. They said he wasn't creative enough. Imagine that. The man who built a kingdom out of mice and magic. He saw castles when others saw fields. He heard music in silence. That's what vision does. It allows you to see beyond what is into what could be. And when you see it clearly enough, when you desire it deeply enough, when you believe it fiercely enough, something shifts. Action becomes inevitable. Because you're no longer trying to force discipline. You're pulled by destiny. You no longer wake up to an alarm clock. You wake up to a calling. You stop dragging yourself through life and start sprinting through it. Because what's ahead is more magnetic than what's behind. But understand this, the world does not reward intentions. It rewards execution. Ideas are cheap. Action is priceless. If belief is the blueprint, then discipline is the hammer. Discipline is doing what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's the silent work, the invisible reps, the sacrifices no one claps for. It's the early mornings, the missed parties, the rejection, the discomfort, the heartbreak, the fatigue. It's going to the gym when your muscles ache. It's studying when your mind wants rest. It's making the call, writing the page, building the product when your motivation is on life support. Because discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It demands you show. The legends of history didn't get there by accident. They outlasted the quitters. They outworked the talented. They bled for their vision. They built what no one else could see, and they did it when nobody was watching. That's your task now. To stop negotiating with your excuses, to stop waiting for the mood, to become the kind of person who acts not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That is how lives are transformed, one uncompromising decision at a time, one bold, defiant step forward, even when fear says retreat. And every time you choose discipline over excuse, the gap between who you are and who you're meant to be grows smaller and smaller until one day you wake up and realize you've become the architect of your own destiny. But even when you walk the path of discipline, even when you hammer away day after day, you will fall, you will stumble, you will fail. Not once, not twice, but over and over. Because failure is not the enemy, it is the instruction manual. The ones who succeed aren't those who never fall. They are those who fall 1,000 times and rise 1,001. Thomas Edison wasn't trying to fail when he tested over 10,000 filaments to invent the electric light. But every failure whispered something the last didn't. Every mistake carved away what didn't work until only success remained. Many of life's failures, Edison said, are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. That's the truth most never hear. Success often lives just beyond your final excuse. Right after you say, "I can't," lies the moment you could have. And so resilience becomes the cornerstone of all greatness. You must become the kind of person who refuses to stay down, who doesn't just recover, but rebuilds stronger, who sees setbacks not as tombstones, but as stepping stones. Resilience is not toughness, it's transformation. It's looking pain in the eyes and saying, "You will not break me, you will build me." And while you rise, while you struggle, while you bleed for your dreams, never forget the power of adaptability. Because the world changes, circumstances shift, the storm doesn't ask if you're ready. Adaptability is your ability to bend without breaking, to pivot when needed, to evolve without losing your essence. When the winds change, you don't abandon the ship, you adjust the sails. When life throws detours, you don't abandon the journey, you find new roads. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, faced ridicule, and yet he adapted, each loss refining his vision until it was ready to lead a nation through its darkest hour. Success is not linear, it's a labyrinth, a winding, twisting, punishing course. But if you keep moving, adapting, learning, evolving, you cannot be stopped. And that's where another hidden power awakens: gratitude. Gratitude is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not pretending everything is perfect. Gratitude is presence. It is the ability to stand in the fire and still find the beauty in the flame. It's knowing that every breath, every heartbeat, every sunrise is a reminder you still have a shot. You're not buried, you're being planted. And gratitude waters the seed of greatness that grows when no one's watching. When you practice gratitude, even in the chaos, you anchor yourself to power. You stop chasing happiness and start building it with your own hands. It fuels your soul in ways excuses never could. Excuses drain. Gratitude sustains. You see, this journey, this climb to greatness, it is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who whisper dreams and live excuses. It is for those who burn the excuses to the ground, and from those ashes, build the life they were born to live. The life that doesn't ask permission. The life that doesn't beg for validation. The life that declares with every action, every step, every sacrifice, "I will rise." And now, you've heard the whisper inside you long enough. That quiet voice, the one that kept asking, "What if? What if I really gave it my all? What if I stopped making excuses? What if I committed with the intensity of someone whose life depended on it?" Because it does. Your life does depend on it. Not just the years on the calendar, but the life inside those years. Because this world doesn't owe you a single thing. Not happiness, not clarity, not opportunity, not a miracle. but it will hand all of it, every ounce, to the one who dares to claim it. The one who wakes up and says, I refuse to settle. I refuse to repeat yesterday. I refuse to die with dreams still buried in my chest. No more blaming. No more delaying. No more standing in your own way. This is not about waiting for the right time. This is about becoming the right person. And the right person burns the excuses. They reduce the I can't into ash. They bury the I'm not ready under concrete. They incinerate every ounce of self-doubt, and in its place, they forge the unbreakable weapon of resolve. Not motivation, not inspiration, conviction. The kind of conviction that outlasts comfort. The kind that works while the world sleeps. The kind that takes responsibility for everything, even the things you didn't cause, because it means you can change everything. This isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about finally becoming fully human, alive, awake, lit from within by the one force that changes everything. Desire. Not a wish, not a hope. A burning desire. A fire so hot that no excuse can survive its heat. A desire that moves through your bones like a mission from the heavens. So now, you choose, right here, right now. Do you continue feeding your excuses, or do you finally feed your fire? Do you build another reason why you can't, or do you build the life you were destined for? The clock is ticking. The world is waiting. Your legacy is calling. Burn the excuses, build the life, and never, ever look back.